Welcome to Patch Play 2's weekly podcast. I'm your host, Paul James, and I'm again joined by Jay Parnas.
Your host.
Damo is...
Damo isn't.
Moving right along. Check last week's episode for what's happened to Damo.
Damo's, he's doing his time. And by that I mean he's doing time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's in the joint for doing joints.
Good.
He's in the clink for clanking.
Yeah, the major problem he's had.
He's behind bars for being in too many bars.
Yeah, spot on, actually. I'd heard that too.
I can't do this anymore. I've run out of jail puns.
We're into our patched updates.
He went straight to jail. He did not pass go. He did not collect $200. There it is. I did it. You're welcome.
We're into our patched updates for October, where Jay and I, in this case, will talk about all the things that we've been playing, doing, and we'll also give you a draft update because we haven't done one of those in a while. But things have finally started happening again.
Yeah, things exist again.
So, kicking things off, I'll throw to you. Because last month you couldn't think of anything.
Last month I blanked, and then I got home and I looked at my Steam library, and I'm like, oh, all of these.
That's right, I played all those.
That's right, I played games. I knew I'd played games. And I've forgotten a few since then, and because it's been so long, I didn't touch them in the month coming. But one of the ones I did want to talk about last month was actually a game that I backed on Kickstarter, and it came out. It's actually a really fun game. It's called Heart and Slash. I don't know if you've seen it around.
Actually, I think I've heard the name.
It's
I couldn't tell you what it was about.
It's kind of a roguelike-y kind of game, but it's real cool in terms of its combat's actually brawler-esque. Think Devil May Cry almost.
Yeah.
And because you play as a robot. There's some apocalypse stuff that happens, but I don't want to spoil too much of it because it is kind of story-driven, so that's cool. And even though it is roguelike, and if you die you have to start the whole thing over again, but you do get into rooms, enemies will pop out, and you can kill them, you can run for some of them. There will be some times that they'll be you'll be boxed in, the doors will close, and you got to kill all the dudes and so on. Yeah. And there'll be health drops and stuff like that. But for the most part, you can get weapons. It works very much like. Did you play the remake, the Devil May Cry remake, DMC, made by Ninja Theory?
The Ninja Theory one. Yeah.
So the combat,
and didn't mind it actually.
The combat has a similar feel to that in that you've got your main weapon that you've got out. You do your heavies and your weaks and your heavies, and you can do launches and all that sort of shit. But then on your triggers, you'll have two other weapons. So in the same way that there was you had your basic weapon in DMC, and then you had your dark and your light weapon. Yeah. It doesn't really work like that in terms of them being one light, one dark or whatever. It's basically you pick up three weapons and you can hold three weapons at a time.
Okay.
And one of them might be a gun, and one of them might be, but for the most part they'll be, at least for the most part that I played, which was not a huge amount, but I played a bunch, especially because, I backed the game and I'm like, okay, cool, I want to get into this, and I saw some footage about how it actually played, and there was a lot of positive talk about it, so I wanted to give it a bit of a drum up on this bad boy right here. So basically, as you play,
that might be indie game in the month sort of territory, right?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to do last month, but it's kind of it's been and gone, I guess, in terms of its
last month.
Yeah, it's been out, and that's again, like I said, I wanted to give it drum up something if I can with what little media platform I have. But basically, yeah, I'd recommend go play it. It's good fun. It's not really all that expensive. I mean, you could quickly look up how much you're looking at. I think it's a $15 game, something like that.
So yeah, pretty inexpensive.
20 max. But again, like I said, I backed it, so I was seeing a lot of their stuff come through with their updates and that sort of stuff. And look, it's a nice looking game. It kind of has a almost cel shaded look to it. Very blocky and boxy, but it is doing that on purpose. Yeah. It's fast. It moves real fast. Your character moves at a blistering speed. Almost Benny Hill speed of really quick. And then there's a run button which makes you run even faster. And the music's great and really happy and cool and almost cutesy, I would say. But it's not annoying. It's actually quite good. But yeah, the combat works real good. You've got weapons. Some of them will have their special, their little combat tricks where some of them, if you like hold backwards and do a thing, you'll do like a spinning uppercut or whatever. And then your experience, so you'll be, whenever you kill enemies, you'll be getting some experience, and that is in bolts, I think. And you'll eventually not quite. Yeah, no, I know. But you will eventually, they'll become boxes of, and you can basically expand those in terms of like, as in like you would build a skill tree. But all of your parts have points that you can put in, right? So you can actually get like arm parts and leg parts, body parts, head part, as well as weapons. But each one of those you can invest. There'll be 2 or 3 little spots that you can invest in, and like a real classic roguelike, won't really tell you what it does very much. Some of them will be more clear than others. Others will be cryptic as fuck. And it's cool because it's just like, okay, well, I'll just bury some experience into this and it will be potentially stronger, and it might, make up for some of the weaknesses of this. So like, there was even like a hammer that was very King DDD-esque, where it's like a fucking rocket at the end of the hammer and you swing, and some of them was like, okay, the rocket will kind of be able to do flame, like burn damage when you hit the enemy, but there was this other one that didn't really explain what it did, and even putting points into it, you couldn't really tell up front. But that's the thing, like, that's what a roguelike is. Like, at its core, it's like, hey, here's a potion that I don't know what it is and I'll drink, and I might die immediately. That's what a classic roguelike is, right? So this is not really all that different from it. But, like, it's fun, and, you can actually save some of those upgrades for yourself, because your character specifically has like default upgrades that you can put in, and they'll give you health back, so you can also put some in there. You can then recycle weapons, so if you come across a new weapon pickup, you want to get rid of an older weapon that you don't really use, you can recycle it into health, and you can put points, your experience points, to make that recycler better, and it's real cool. Like, it's got a lot of really cool mechanics, it's fun, it's like, I wouldn't call it throwaway either, because it's like you can definitely spend like a short amount of time and burn through a few runs, but like, it's good fun. Like, it's a good fun little game, and I'd highly recommend it, just because it's like, if you like your DMC type combat, and you like the, I suppose, I can't think of the right term, but it's like the less commitment that you have to make with a roguelike, because it's like, okay, cool, if I die, whatever. Like, I don't have this long save that. Yeah, you don't have to go back a while. I mean, well, you kind of do, but it's a roguelike anyway, so it's like, well, I might get a better drop on the next run anyway, so who cares? But yeah, it's got that story and all that sort of stuff, and most of that story is played out in the tutorial, and then you'll come across some characters and so on and so forth. It's pretty good. I need to put more time into it. It's good fun, and I'm pretty sure it's out on console as well, I believe. What was the name again, sorry? Heart and Slash. Yeah, maybe we can have a bit of a squiz on the PlayStation. So that's one of the things I've been playing. What else did you get into? I put a little bit more time into Doom, because I need it. It's going to be Dark Souls then. No, I do need to get into Dark Souls, especially with the DLC that's coming. Which I've heard is very much like the painted world of the first game in terms of how they're going to distribute it to you. But that's the thing, like, I suppose that'll actually work into my favour, not having finished it, because they're doing it the same way that they've always done it. The same way they did it in Bloodborne, and the same that they did it in previous Dark Souls games, where the DLC, you can't access the DLC from the start of the game. So if you finished it and you've got a new game plus, you have to play a harder Dark Souls to get up to that point if you want to use your existing character. Whereas for me, I don't have that. You're not done, so you can go. That's right. So there's always that benefit, I suppose, which, that's a pro and con of Dark Souls and so on and so forth. But look, I put a bit more time into Doom, not very much. I really want to finish that game. It's such a good fucking game. I played Forza Horizon 1. Because I know, you could be talking about 3. I know, I specifically worded my sentence and all that sort of stuff. Can you do that in that? No. Okay, you should be able to do that. That'd be funny. That'd be the true experience of driving in Australia. But then the mystery that our overseas viewers might have about riding, like, maybe he killed someone inside that kangaroo that was taking the kid to school or whatever. Yeah, that's totally a thing that people believe. That's fucking weird. They're really they're mucusy. No one wants to ride in that. No, it's fucked up. Anyway, that's how I got to school for the first 5-6 years. Then I outgrew the pouch and had to get a lift. Yeah, then he rode in the back. That's how it happens. they're actually manufactured by Subaru.
Yeah.
Fun fact. All kangaroos. That's where they come from. Let's move on. So that's the thing. With Forza Horizon 3, it's out now. It wasn't the start.
Yeah, number one recently that was
backwards compatible on Xbox Correct.
One, yeah.
And that's why I had an unused copy, like still fucking shrink wrapped because I never got around to playing it. And that's the thing. Like I was.
How do those work? Because I've not tried a backwards compatible game.
Basically,
so do you put your old disc in?
You put your disc in. It'll download an update of X amount of gig and go.
Okay.
And for the most part, it has all the DLC in it, free. So Borderlands 1, for example.
Yeah, I follow you.
You put it in, put the Borderlands 1 disc in, and it will not work without that disc. So it is still checking that you've got the disc. You can buy it digitally, I believe, and that's fine. But basically, and if you do have digital games, they will just appear in your library.
I had a few of those that did it, but I wasn't sure because I haven't tried it out with any of my old retail.
So basically, you put in the disc, it will download an update. So, for example, Forza had like a 7 gig thing.
Yeah, okay.
But then again, like they may have patched that game, and I wouldn't have had any of those patches because I just had straight up just the disc.
Just the disc.
So it was that plus all the DLC content comes in. I had to manually install some of it. It was there, but it didn't install, which I had to do. It was weird. But I did it, and I had it, and it was proper DLC content. Like it was, hey, here's a thing that you can purchase, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to purchase that. And then it's like, oh, go to your games and apps and hit install. I'm like, okay, I haven't purchased this thing, and it was totally there, and it was just in, and I just installed it. And that's the thing, like it was saying, hey, you can buy, like here's a thing you could buy, and then it had another thing where it's like, yeah, just go to your games and apps and install it, and I'm like, really? That's weird. And I went in, installed it, and there it was, and I had it, and it was in game, and it changed the game. Got the little cutscene explaining how that DLC stuff worked, and there it was. I had it.
All right, cool.
So that was weird. But in terms of the game itself, look, I'm a huge Burnout, especially Paradise fan. That was the game that I bought my 360 for, if you recall.
Yeah.
I played it at with a Game On, I think it was, that we had at Acme. Yeah. And I loved it, and it was like, that's the thing. I love arcadey races where it's just, yeah, cool. Here's a corner, edge towards the back of the corner, turn, let go of accelerator, tap brake, put on accelerator, and drift forever. That's me. That's how I like to play racing games. Now, the problem with me, Forza is not really that. Forza's kind of like Forza Motorsport is a sim. Forza Horizon's a bit more arcadey, but it still has a lot of that sim grounding. Yeah. Which was kind of sad. I really wanted to go full retard on all of the corners, but you can't. Like there were races where it's just like, okay, well, I've tweaked this car as much as I can before it pushes over into another class, and if it's in this other class, I can't use it for this race anymore. But everyone is so close to the edge of the next class that you have to be taking your corners by accelerating at the apex and braking before, and I'm like, that's boring. I want to slide the back out forever.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. I've been told that you can kind of do that with some of the cars. Depends on the car. But fuck that. No, I want to just I want Burnout Paradise 2, and that will never happen, and that makes me sad. But that's the thing. I may still pick up Horizon 3 because I know they've done some good things with it. But I mean,
glowing praise.
Except for its optimization, there's some serious frame rate stuff, especially on PC. Yeah,
no one cares about PC.
Even people except for. Wow, really? All right. Well, because this is one of the first games that is proper, that at release is got that cross buy with the PC game where so you buy it once and you've got it both places. So there's that. So actually they do matter, especially for this particular topic. But yeah, there's I've seen stuff where people with a 1080, a card, graphics card, and they can't they've put it all the way down to low and they'll still get frame rate hitches. They can't even get a solid 60. They can get, and you can unlock the frame rate and that helps, but it'll still dip below 30 sometimes. So it's
not really good enough.
No, but I mean on the console it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there's still some framiness to it, but yeah. I don't know. I mean, some of the stuff, the way that game plays out, it's if it's not that fun to drive in races, I don't know if driving around the world's going to give me the thing that I want anyway.
Yep.
So I'm still tentative on that. Because again, like Horizon 1 was kind of fun, and like driving around really fast was cool, but then you come to a corner and you can't just fucking like slide around it as if it was Ridge Racer, because it's not, and that's less fun. Because it's not fun. Like, you play Daytona, right? You've played Daytona in the arcades. That shit is 100% drifting, and it's fun because it's just like, yeah, but you've got actual visceral pedals where you're like slap, 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 drift, and like that's just how I prefer my racing games, and there kind of hasn't been a good one for a long time, and I miss them, and so I was hoping that Horizon could give me what I need, and it does not, which is sad. But other than that, a lot of Diablo still playing a lot of that with my girlfriend, and getting that shit done.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I actually am looking for an opportunity to get back into Diablo. I think I might.
Have you got it on console?
Yeah. What
have you got it on?
PS4.
Alright. I'm thinking it might be time that I pick up a PS4.
I think after I get the PlayStation 4 Pro, where I've got some increased hard drive space, I might reinstall and then.
Have you got digital?
No, like I've got it on disc, but there's.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty large file that's been downloaded since, with all their seasons of updates and all those sorts of things.
Yeah, they've got a lot of season stuff.
There's a lot.
One that came out not that long ago.
Probably all that stuff.
And potentially one that come out of BlizzCon.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm thinking it might be time.
There's as much downloaded now as there is installed off disc. So.
Yeah.
And I just don't have the room on
it's real good fun, and like if I do pick up one, we could get an online game going along. The problem, the cool part about that is like there's this thing, and because my girlfriend's the only person on my Xbox list who plays Diablo, which probably should have told me that you did not have it on, because I'm pretty sure I've got you on Xbox. If you've played it at any stage and you're in your friends list, there'll be time when a legendary will drop in that game where you actually get a gift for someone, and you just shoot it to their mailbox and they'll crack it open, guaranteed legendary on level. So that's cool. And so her and I will basically be like, I'll wake up, like I'll have gone to bed before she's done playing, and I'll wake up to some legendaries, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Doesn't help her progression at all, but whatever.
But it's a nice gesture.
Yeah, it's nice for me. But yeah, like the problem that I'm in at the moment is because of the confusion with all the different PS4s. There's like the pre-existing, the Slim, and then the Pro. I have no idea if I'm shooting myself in the foot by picking any of those. Like, okay, am I shooting myself in the foot by picking up the Pro because it's not that much better, and what's the fucking point? What's the fucking point? Or do I pick up the Slim and then shoot myself in the foot because there is a point of picking up the Pro? Or do I go the cheap ass route and pick up the old one and shoot myself in both feet because I don't have a good fucking PS4?
Yeah, fair enough.
That's the position I'm in.
We'll have a bit of a chat off camera about all that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, no one seems to know.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on.
Thanks.
Sorry, just time, amount of battery,
sure.
That sort of stuff. So I got a chance to kind of knock through a few games.
Please.
I finished about 3 on the same day, which was nice.
Yeah. Obviously, other than this month's
Castle Crashers, which we're playing in the video games.
Obviously, there was that was played this month on my end as well.
I pushed through Life is Strange, which I really didn't enjoy last year. The last episode was a saving grace. I had episodes 4 and 5 to finish. 4, I continued to roll my eyes at. 5 was quite good. The significant reduction in the use of the word hella. They were just a lot quieter. They just didn't say as much in the episode, and I liked that.
Good.
The shame with the game.
What type of game is this again?
The overall story, like the narrative they were trying to tell, was interesting, but it was the character dialogue that just drove me up the wall. I couldn't get into the characters whatsoever, and I know for a lot of other people, like there's been so much praise heaped on that game, and I can see what it is they like, but it's not something that I like.
Let me take a moment to tell you that you should play Dying Light again, because that game is fucking awesome and you need to play it. I
also finished Limbo on the PS4. I played it way back on the 360, but I crushed through that. I installed Recore, had every intention to play it, and then didn't get to because after I'd installed it, there was then a 7 gig update that came along, and I didn't have time to deal with that before then heading off to Sydney for EB Expo, which you saw me discuss last week. And then there's kind of I played the second episode of Batman Telltale.
How are they?
The first one was good but not great. The second one, excellent. Some of the choices have been fantastic. I'm really feeling quite.
Have you thrown any batarangs yet?
I've had the option to. I've taken different paths. I'm playing.
You had an option to throw a batarang and you chose not that option.
No, I tried a more stealthy, I'm going to beat this person around the head option.
Alright. How'd that go?
Successfully.
Did you throw the batarang?
No.
So not successfully. As far as I'm concerned, you're not Batman, you're a thug. And I hate you.
The sort of person that Batman should be beating up.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. You're not Bruce Wayne, you're Bruce wannabe. Get the fuck out of town.
What else have I played?
Who cares?
I've kind of dabbled in different pieces here and there. I finished Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which last time we did a recording I'd only just kind of started.
How was it? Was it as bad as people are saying? No. Was it as mediocre? Was it as mediocre?
We'll talk about that when it comes to the
I know.
When it comes to the draft shortly, but
how was it?
It was still quite good. It's kind of
was it fine? Was it okay?
Human Revolution, but more open. I had a lot more choice. I didn't have to. I didn't feel penalised for being aggressive.
Were you aggressive?
I was, pretty aggressive. Like I got, walking through an area, trying to do it stealthy. Oh, I got seen. Fine. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to kill all of you, and I'm going to go back and find.
And I'm going to find your family.
I'm going to find all the people that I got by that weren't disturbed by what I'm doing now, and I'm going to kill all of them too. Because now that I've killed a few of you, no one else is allowed to survive.
You're a shithead. That's awesome.
So,
all right.
Well, it just meant that
I can get behind that.
I'm not going to have this inconsistency where I've made my way through and these guys are safe. These guys have been killed. These guys are safe. No, everyone's dead or everyone's alive. It's
Ziggy.
It's all or nothing.
What?
So that was.
That's the most arbitrary murder I've ever heard. I mean, I'm on board. Don't get me wrong. Like, that's funny, but that's so random. No, I'm going to go back to areas that I got through successfully, and I'm going to kill everyone
within this place that I've travelled to. So
everyone you've ever known, all your family, your friends, everyone you've ever passed in the street, I'm going to
kill.
What?
It was great. And it probably added to my gameplay time.
I'm sure. That's fucked up.
It was good. Explored a lot of the side missions, did a lot of that, tried to tick off a lot of boxes. It was great.
It sounded like you ticked off quite a few boxes by the sound.
DLC is available. I will get around to that at some point. I'm holding on to the game on the PS4 at the moment, and I'll get around to that. I've dabbled a little bit in Destiny, The Rise of Iron.
Oh yeah, how was that?
I'm significantly underleveled going into this. So I managed to grind through the first mission, but I died a lot along the way.
Right.
I got a lot of cool loot to help boost myself up.
I do not have an endgame character for any of that.
Yeah, so I've finished everything else, but I've.
Is it like? Is
I
it
got
right?
carried through a few of those DLC things along the way. So now
carried by.
Oh, just other players that.
Did you just have random fire team?
Random, a couple other people that I knew on PlayStation that kind of carried me through. But when I tried to deal with it on my own, because those people weren't available or whatever, I just
brutalized.
Died against what are some pretty stock standard enemies.
Oh, okay.
But just highly.
Yeah, I found that when I went back to Destiny the first time, it was right around the time of the Wolves. Was it House of Wolves?
House of Wolves and
no, it was right around the House of Wolves time. There would be it was like the second area, and like some random sort of DLC level enemy would just roll in and fucking stomp the fuck out of me, like just one hit me, and I'm like,
I think it'd be very hard to get into the game from scratch.
It's weird. It's weird. Yeah. Like it's this weird thing where it's like, hey, if you weren't here at launch, eat dicks, I guess, because. Like I've tried to go back to that game a couple times, and I'm like, because they've done some radical overhauling of how that game works, I'm just like, well, fuck it, I'll start over, and it's just not fun to start over.
Okay.
Like,
and that's the thing, I've not tried it from starting over. So
and that's the thing, like
Destiny 2's now
playing through the story. Like I've finished the story. There's no real good way of leveling outside of
what little story there was.
Well, yeah. But there's no real good way of leveling outside of multiplayer, and multiplayers.
No, it's alright. I didn't mind. It's one of the few things that maybe I'm not great multiplayer wise. It's one that I kind of felt.
Oh, look,
there's
Mayhem. Have you ever played Mayhem? Mayhem's fun. It's where they like put the cooldowns at like a half speed or quarter speed or whatever. So basically, you've got your shit up all the time, like
Yeah.
like way more often, and it actually feels real fun. But then you go and play the other modes, and you're like, oh wait, this sucks. I died, and I don't have my grenade back. That's fucked up. That's, look, I don't know. Look, if you like Destiny, cool. I'm not shitting.
It was good, but not great. Good enough that I felt, I might go back to the DLC, but I'll
just be aware, Gearbox.
I'll not play that DLC again.
Your opportunities out there, Gearbox. You could do a thing. You could make your Borderlands, and you could still beat everyone. Because as far as I'm concerned, as far as loot shooters go, like nothing has trumped Borderlands yet.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree with that.
Like,
well, they're busy still focusing on Battleborn because it's just gone free to play, or it's going to go free.
Oh, really?
To play. Yeah.
That's a good indicator. That's a real good indicator.
Angers more people who paid money for it.
Well,
for what was an ordinary product.
I'm pretty sure that those people were angry because they bought it anyway. So
fair enough. All right, we'll throw to the video game draft.
Please do.
Which is apparently a sore point for you.
When you were writing down those scores just now, did you
to update any numbers that required?
Did you check all of the platforms? Because
yes,
some of mine are doing a lot better
I've pulled the highest score for each game.
All right.
Let
me see that. Let me see how terrible it's
I'm going to go through them all. So
I'm going to
start with our first pick, second pick, third. So
all right, sure.
Our first picks each were Uncharted 4 for myself and Dark Souls 3 for you.
Yep.
Currently, Dark Souls is sitting on... I'll double check that actually. That's the only one I haven't checked. But it's current. As of my last check, it was 90 versus Uncharted, which is now, as of a check a few minutes ago, sitting on 93. Okay. Dark Souls is... I overscored you. You're sitting on 89 versus 93.
Nah, did you check the...
That's all three platforms.
How did you... Oh, all right.
Because I just searched for the name and then it listed all three.
Cool. I see how this one-sided thing is going. That's fine.
Dark Souls 3, 89 on PS4, 89 on PC, 87 on Xbox One.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Second round, Street Fighter 5, which for me is sitting on 77.
I love how you tried to steal that from me, and
it blew up in my face. Except that your second pick was Zelda, which isn't coming out this year.
I mean, if it was, I'd probably.
Oh, you'd smash me in it, but
yeah, well,
not to be. Even my bad choices worked out okay in the end.
Well, for now.
But then going the other way, Mass Effect Andromeda got delayed for me.
Yep.
You've got XCOM 2, which is still sitting on 88.
Which potentially can
may change,
improve.
given that within days of our recording here,
the console
versions come out.
And I mean, look, the reason that scored... That's the thing. The reason that scored... What was it? 88?
88.
And that was still dropped down because of PC issues. That there was issues with the tech on that one, if you recall. Like, that game came out to some pretty... dodgy tech.
Yes.
So look, there's a good chance that could go up. Yeah. Especially if they've done a good job with, transferring the controls over, which they've already done with the last XCOM games.
Yes. The fourth round is still yet to be decided, I guess, because I've got Gears, which
is not out yet.
Now out by the time you're watching this, but not when we're recording. We're dating the episode a little bit.
Yeah.
Versus
surprise, we do this before
all the time. Versus No Man's Sky, which is
so good,
sitting on 71 for PS4.
Is that?
And you're lucky that we're taking your best because it's sitting on 60 for PC.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was dog shit on the PC, so whatever.
Round 5, I picked Dishonored 2, which is again yet to be released. Mm-hmm. It's still about a month away. Versus Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which is sitting on 74.
So disappointing.
Horizon Zero Dawn, which got delayed for me, so that's my second delay. Versus Hyperlight Drifter, which is still sitting on 86 for you.
Yep. Doing a good job.
Which is a very, very good one for you.
Yep.
Round 7 is outside of, I guess, our first one with Dark Souls and Uncharted is the best round of the lot.
Okay.
Where I picked Overwatch, sitting on 91.
Oh man, I wish I had said that earlier.
Doom, which is 87.
Yeah, Doom's great. Doom's fucking awesome.
Round 8, I will win. That's Quantum Break 77 versus Crackdown 3.
Which is delayed to next year.
Round 9, Final Fantasy 15 for me. That's a December release, so we'll see. November 29 release versus Cuphead,
which I don't.
Presumably isn't coming.
I don't know.
I think by now we'd know if it was coming out this year.
Yeah,
I would think.
That's real disappointing because this has been delayed a couple years now. Just as a consumer of wanting that game, that's fucked up. What are you doing? Seriously, what are you doing?
Our 10th and final round that we went through before the
bonuses.
I picked Deus Ex Mankind Divided, which I just spoke about. That's on 85 versus The Division, which you did a...
I picked The Division?
You did a coin flip out of it and Far Cry Primal.
Yeah, right.
You did pick the better one. Far Cry scored less than Division, but Division scored 81.
Sure, that's all right.
Then
I've picked worse.
Our wild cards, round 11 was Rhyme for me and Megasphere for you, which neither have released... Presumably neither will release. Round 12, which for both of us is a real shame that neither of these games were actually picked in our starting 10, because I have Fire Emblem Fates where it's sitting on 87, and there was a whole bunch of rules around that, but the score that we agreed was the right one was 87. I can't even remember what we decided was okay, but I did check the score with one of our past updates, and you said that one's the one that I need to be picking. The one that wasn't the collection one.
That's right. Yeah, you get red and blue, not yellow. Yeah. If in Pokemon rules.
So 87 was the pick of those.
Which I think's fair. I'm giving you the chance of having one or two games
versus you. And this is one that's subject to change because it's about to come to Xbox in the same sort of way that XCOM 2 is with its improvements.
Yep.
You currently got Firewatch, which is sitting on 81.
Yeah.
That could get the PS4 SKU.
I think that. Well, I think the PC version was less good.
Yeah. But which is a trend out there these days. But who knows? The Xbox One might perform better with all the updates that have been added to the PlayStation One, but are now coming to the Xbox.
He's hoping because if that pushes it, what is it? What 81?
81.
If that pushes it up towards the 90 range,
then we're game on.
Nah, not really, because I don't have Cuphead.
You got 3 games from your 10 at the moment that haven't released versus my 2.
Yep.
And finally, I have Alien Nation sitting on 79 versus River City, whatever that
River City Ransom Underground,
which is
hopefully.
You're still
hopefully
still talk?
Well, there is still talk. They put out an update a month or two ago to say that they've put out their last demo for backers, so maybe by the end of the year, I don't know.
The catch for the both of us, and we knew this going into it, was the prospect of games being delayed. So in the end, you've had 3 that have been delayed, assuming that Cuphead does get delayed. So you've got Zelda out, Crackdown out, and Cuphead.
Well, I mean, to be
Mass
fair,
Effect and Horizon.
I mean, Horizon was a surprise. Mass Effect was not that much of a surprise in terms of getting delayed.
I think it was thereabouts for. It was a candidate.
I think I'm more surprised by mine that got delayed. I mean, Crackdown, whatever, that went completely off the radar. When we did this, it was on the radar because Gamescom had happened not all that long before. Gamescom's like August, and we'd heard. Yeah,
but we did this draft at the start of the
in January, February. So yeah, that's not that long for hearing game news. It's
not a massive, ridiculous window.
But then we've heard literally nothing since, and it's fallen off the radar. Like I had to try and find information to where that was going to be. Like they didn't even announce in a huge wave, hey, Crackdown's being delayed. No, it was a post on their website and didn't even get out there. Like, hey, we're not going to be at E3. That's it. See you later. Whatever. Zelda was a huge hit, and it should be coming out. It's just that they're delaying it for the fucking NX. So thanks, Nintendo.
And still whatever that is.
Who the hell knows what that is?
Yeah, it's
and Cuphead, dude, come on. Sad times.
Well, they took a bunch of feedback because for all that everyone was raving about these boss encounters, people were kind of questioning that there wasn't much meat on the bone outside of those boss encounters, and is that all it is? So they kind of went back, and from a demo that I've played, I feel like I played, or maybe I've seen just online.
I've seen the side-scrolling stuff
where they've added some side-scrolling platforming stuff that leads up to each boss, and perhaps that, along with more, I don't know, has been the reason for why.
But that's the thing, that they're so quiet that it's like, dude, give me something.
They could just stealth release it like they did with Inside, though, in many ways. Well, not quite stealth release, but Inside they...
Yeah,
at E3, here's a trailer, a really, really bad trailer.
And then out it comes.
And then out it is, and it's a Game of the Year candidate.
There's been quite a few that have just popped out of nowhere and done fantastically well. Yeah. I would even put Overwatch in that category. I mean, it's a Blizzard game, so
it's never quite under the radar. But yes, it did.
I mean, it did
have that effect. And
then you got The Witness, which is another one of those that
coming to Xbox. soon.
Yeah, but like that, the release of that, I don't even think much of the media knew that was going to happen until it kind of just dropped, and it was like, oh yeah, hey, Jonathan Blow's got a game out,
and it's awesome.
And that was what, pushing 90, I think.
Yeah, in that window.
Yeah,
it's another one that's being discussed by bigger publications for possible Game of the Year status.
For sure.
There's kind of 3 or 4 that are 5 probably that are in that conversation, from what I can gather, just from anecdotal stuff
even
seeing around the internet. So the 5 that I tend to hear get discussed at the moment
for Game of the Year type stuff.
Inside, Witness, Overwatch, Dark Souls, and Uncharted. They're kind of the 5 that are being across the board discussed.
I wish
Forza's kind of.
I wish Doom would be part of that conversation.
There's a few that are people who are like, I'd love for Doom to be up there, but there's enough people within these bigger ones where it's kind of, they've got a very democratic process, and it's just the weight of the numbers is.
Yeah, I suppose, but I mean. The fact
None of them are saying that it's bad. That's the thing.
But the fact that like
the
fact that they want that to be a dark horse is like
great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, who would have if you recall, if you go back to that video, I was fucking you
were arming and ahhing about.
I'm like, no, I was like, hey, here's a dumb one, Doom. Fucking one of my best scorers.
Yeah,
like
it's
crazy.
I think it's your second best after Dark Souls.
It's up there. It's certainly up there. I've got a few in the high 80s. I have.
You've got some like in that really nice tight band. In the 80s,
I do.
In the higher 80s territory.
Yeah, like if No Man's Sky had have pulled its weight, same with Mirror's Edge. Like that's the thing. Like games that should not have been getting.
There's a lot of what ifs in there for both of us, really.
Yeah, I mean, look, Gears will probably here.
And there's still some prospective what ifs. Like Gears could be 80s in the end, not 90s. It could be.
I mean,
Dishonored. It's not our thing.
I think Dishonored will probably do quite well. Final Fantasy could potentially have shot itself in the foot considering how long it took to come out. There might be a bit of that.
It could be a victim of 10 years.
Rhyme is not even in your top 10, so I won't worry about that. Yeah, I don't know. Like when I look at it, I mean, Quantum Break didn't really do you any favors.
Early in the year I was really worried because of what it and Street Fighter had done, but then when Zelda dropped out and Crackdown dropped out, and you still don't know about Cuphead, but when those two dropped out to offset my and you becoming less positive about your Megaspheres and River Cities to fill the void.
If you recall, I didn't even know any other games. You had stolen games that I didn't think you would steal. I didn't think you were going to go for Overwatch. I think I may have mentioned it in passing beforehand, and you just.
No, that was high up on my list.
You picked it at 7.
I had a big... I had a priorities list. I'd given this a hell of a lot of thought before.
I did as well, and
I'd ranked everything.
I should have picked it earlier.
I was just crossing things off as either you or I'd selected it, and I would just then pick the next thing in my list that was available.
Okay, that's not what the original video said, but alright. You said you're going to steal, like, a second one you were going to steal from me.
Oh, yeah, because I knew...
the definition of what you... Anyway, let's move on. So, look, Crackdown 3, Cuphead, Zelda. You've got Mass Effect. You've got Horizon.
2 to drop out.
Yeah,
and Rhyme, but that's not part of the 10.
Whatever. So, I've got Firewatch and maybe River City Ransom. So, I'm probably going to lose based on the fact that I'm going to have a 0 where you're not.
Yeah. Which is a far cry to what's going on the Player 2 website,
which you've got.
Where I will have the 3 top scoring games of the year,
and then
and I will lose by a mile because I've got both Zelda and Horizon in there that are scoring 0s.
What are you gonna do?
And I've got Gears that's going to come in and fill the void for one of them, but I can't. I'm going to have 1-0, and I can't even get away with having 1-0 in there.
Well, that's the thing. Like the difference between, like even if I went for the PlayStation version of No Man's Sky in a top 5, that's better than Mass Effect. That will always score higher in 2016 than Mass Effect.
Yes.
That will always score higher than Horizon.
But in the long run, we know that No Man's Sky is rubbish and Mass Effect will be
in fact, amazing. Superman 64 in 2016 will score higher than...
Tune in next month where we've got a lot to say about Mass Effect, presumably.
Maybe. No, really?
And 7 Day, they're having a big...
I probably won't have anything to say about it.
Anyway, that is our patched updates for another month.
Yeah, we don't have a third body here to fill the void, which
is good because we've got for a long time again.
Have we?
Yeah.
All right. I can't even tell.
So, make sure do the usual like, share, subscribe, hit up Player2AU on Twitter, visit the website player2.net.au, Anchorman XS Twitter, Paul James P2 Twitter. He hates me for it, sucked in.
Hit up Heart and Slash on your console of choice if it exists there. If not, get Steam.
Get a different platform and look at it there.
That's right. No, it's a good game. It's a good bit of fun. If you like your roguelikes, if you like your bit of your hack and slash, it's good fun.
And be sure to tune in again next week where we're going to talk about kind of the road home for 2017 and what.
Yeah, I mean,
the
end of the year is a big time in the gaming calendar, especially this year where
there's hardware launches and a bunch of other things.
Yeah.
Enjoy your PlayStation VR because I know that's out this week. Enjoy your Gears, that's out this week. Just enjoy games. It's a good time of the year.
Enjoy this week.
Until next week, which hopefully will be good too.
Here's hoping.
We'll see you later.